his case and stuff last time. So this is just the sentencing. So we probably won't read through all this, and then we'll probably move on to another topic. But just to sort of tie up loose ends, we'll go through this. Fetty Wap is sentenced to 6 years in prison for running drugs. Prosecutors said the rapper, best known for his hit Trap Queen, glamorized drugs and sold them even as he made millions from his music, which it does seem like a dumb thing for someone to do, is to sell drugs when you're a rap star. Like this dude, look, he's on the red carpet. It's not like, I don't know if he was hurting for money. He might have been hurting for money, but who knows? Who knows what was really going on? Is it street cred? Is he trying to do street? I mean, it's not like, in 2014, I think he was caught selling crack. I think, well, we'll see. And this is the New York Times. Fetty Wap, a New Jersey rapper who shot to fame with his hit Trap Queen, an ode to a romance entangled in the drug trade, was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison on Wednesday for trafficking narcotics across the country. The singer, whose legal name is Willie Jr., it's not even William, it's Willie. Willie Jr. Maxwell II, 31, had been in custody since his bail was revoked in August after prosecutors said he had, while on a FaceTime call, displayed a firearm and threatened to kill someone. He subsequently pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute 500 grams or more of cocaine, which ended up being like 25 kilos or something, which is a lot. Which is 25,000 grams, I believe. On Wednesday, he appeared before Judge Joanna Seibert at a federal court in central Islip, New York, to receive a sentence 1 year longer than the minimum. Mr. Maxwell waved to about 20 family members and friends who attended the sentencing as he entered the courtroom wearing a beige jumpsuit, his dreadlocks pulled back from his face. Whew. So he definitely pleaded guilty. He was definitely serving prison time, but they were trying to get him on the minimum of 5 years, and they decided that they wanted to extend the minimum by 1 year, but they just wanted to make sure, because he was glamorizing the drug trade in his music and art, so they definitely went after him in trying to make an example, which I think is still whatever. I don't agree with what he was doing. Selling narcotics and stuff is terrible. Just ruining communities, ruining people's lives. But, it's always lame when judges and prosecutors try to make examples out of people because of the art that they put out. I think that's kind of lame. His lawyer, Elizabeth Donio, I don't know. His lawyer argued that Fetty Wap had been supporting many relatives and children, and that he had needed the money to sustain them once the pandemic ended live entertainment. Mr. Maxwell himself, or Fetty Wap, apologized to the communities and families of drug users he hurt. I only ever wanted to help my family, Fetty Wap told the judge. I never asked myself if it was all the way right. Well, no, we all know that if you're going to sell drugs, that there's always going to be a drawback. There's always going to be a chance of getting caught. There's always a chance. You know what you're doing. You're feeding into a trap for people. You're feeding these horrible addictions. It's like you should know that. And this is coming from someone who allegedly used to sell narcotics. Allegedly. Which I'm not proud of. It was a terrible thing. And I regret that. I regret selling narcotics. Allegedly sold narcotics. Prosecutors had argued for a longer term, saying that he used his fame to glamorize the drug trade while making millions from his music after Trap Queen was released in 2015. They pointed to the use of children as extras in the song's music video and noted the ample media attention the case had received. The prosecutor on Wednesday asked the judge to remember the collateral consequences of drug abuse and pointed out that many people suffered during the pandemic and they didn't turn to peddling poison, which is true. It's like a lot of people ate shit, but we weren't out there selling narcotics. And when I allegedly sold narcotics, I was very young. I was early 20s. Just doing dumb stuff. It was mostly so I could do drugs too. I'm sorry, yawning, guys. I've been up since like 4:30 in the morning. Judge Saber called the case one of the most difficult she's had to decide in over 30 years on the bench, noting that Fetty Wap overcame obstacles to achieve unbelievable fame only to throw it away. She noted his loving, supportive family, many of whom had written to her, and his relationship to his children, but his crime was serious, and his actions while out on bail raised serious questions, she said. The thing you cannot escape is that there were other choices, she said, which is true. Look at Boozy. Boozy sells chips. Sell chips, bitch. Sell some Fetty Wap chips. Get in the rap chip game. Look at fucking, look at all these different rappers. Kanye West, say what you want. The dude is a great businessman. Jay-Z, they all has started, Jay-Z started from selling cocaine, right? And now he has a legit business, and he's a rapper. He has different products out there. There's definitely other options other than running drugs. In March, one of Fetty Wap's co-defendants, Anthony whatever, a former New Jersey corrections officer, was sentenced to 6 years for acting as a courier of cocaine. Maxwell's remaining 4 co-defendants pleaded guilty and are awaiting sentencing. So there you go. A fucking corrections officer was involved in this. So that's fun. Fetty Wap, who hails from Paterson, New Jersey, and lost his left eye to congenital glaucoma, was at the height of his musical success when he was selling drugs. Blech. Trap Queen, featuring his distinctive mix of singing and rapping, had reached number 2 on the U.S. Billboard's Hot 100 chart in May 2015. The music site Pitchfork described his devilishly melodic singing voice as a warbling, lightning-shocked instrument. I don't know if I'd go that far, but hey. He was nominated for 2 Grammys the following year and appeared on VH1 reality show Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. In court, the Duke, who don't know who Fetty Wap is, but sounds like a bad news for him. Yes, Duke. Fetty Wap is a rapper, and he is not happy now. He's going to prison for a few years, 6 years to be exact. Duke, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Let me see. How do you do the thing? How do you do shout-outs? Wait, is it shout-out? I think Robbie set something out here. Robbie set something out. Let me see if this works. Is that how it works? I'm going to have to ask Robbie how he does it. He set something up really cool, but I forgot how he did it. How do you do shout-outs? I don't even remember how to do shout-outs anymore. The Duke does stream. There it is. Duke does stream gaming. To go and give Duke a follow. Get at it. In court, how you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going good in your world. Happy Friday. In court Wednesday, the lawyer, Fetty Wap's lawyer, laid out the obstacle that Fetty Wap had previously faced, including constant bullying because of his glaucoma and drug addiction before the start of his music career with the group Remy Boys. Then Trap Queen hit airwaves. Suddenly, the kid from Patterson, the kid who was supposed to go nowhere, was in the national spotlight, which is kind of a bad defense. It's like, he got made fun of. I'm doing well. I'm a little tired. I got up at 4:30 for no reason because my body was like, it's time to wake up, bitch. So it did. I woke up. Suddenly, the kid from Patterson, the kid who was supposed to go nowhere, was in the national spotlight. This is kind of, in my eyes, this is kind of a bad defense. He was made fun of because he lost his eye, so he sold fentanyl and heroin and cocaine and crack. Doesn't add up. She noted that the accusations only involved a 6-month period of activity about 3 years ago and accused the prosecutors of trying to use his fame against him in their argument for a longer sentence, saying it showed a complete disconnect between law enforcement and the music world. So that was only a 6-month period of activity that the law knew about, but who knows what was going on before then. It seems like he's been a career criminal. Since August, he has been held in protective custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn because of concern he would be targeted for his fame. After Mr. Maxwell, or Fetty Wap's arrest, he hustled to take on as many gigs as possible to make money for his family before what he knew would be a lengthy prison sentence. Even as the case was pending, Fetty Wap released a slow R&B jam called Sweet Yams. Prosecutors said that was code for drugs. A correction was made. An earlier version of this article misspelled the name Fetty Wap. It is Sweet Yams, not Sweet Yams. Oh, with a Z, not with a S. Oh my God. These motherfuckers at the New York Times. These guys, the New York Times and other newspapers are changing articles in the dead of night, not telling anybody about the corrections, and they're shaping history in different ways, but yet they're gonna correct themselves on this. How about the fact that they were reporting that Trump was in collusion with Russia for years, but it was all made up. It was all made up. How about they retract that? Not that I'm a fan of Trump at all. I despise the man, but they definitely were just lying. They were just lying about all this shit. They're lying. They lie and lie and lie. And then they want to put a fucking disclaimer at the end of fucking Fetty Wap's sentencing that they made a spelling error. Fucking douchebags. Anyways, so there you go, guys. There's the update. He was sentenced to 6 years. And that is that. Moving on. We're fucking flying through them today. Ghostface Killah, a Wu-Tang staple, who I fucking love Ghostface. There's this album that Ghostface did with, oh my God, there was a couple that he did. There were some murder albums, like Murder Good, Ghostface Killah albums. Let's see if we can figure them out. He collaborated with a Adrian Young. That's who it was. Is it this one? 12 Reasons to Die. Yeah, I think this is it. It's fucking dope. And 12 Reasons to Die 1 and 2 is so sick. Yeah, it's his collaboration he did with Adrian Young, and it's a story of like a dude who finds like these magic records, and like he's a gang boss. It's fucking sick, dude. If you guys have never seen it, you should definitely check out, or heard it, you should definitely go and check out the albums. It's 1 and 2. Adrian Young produced it. Adrian Young is a fucking just amazing artist and producer and songwriter. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. I wish we could play some. Maybe we should just play a little bit. Maybe we should just play a little bit of this. We'll just give a little taste. Just a little teensy taste. This shit's hard as fuck. Is this just the instrumental?
Bringing the coke by the boatloads, go against the grain, nigga. I feed those hoes, follow no family rules are for fools. Chase the paper, cause it's the cat. Brother, it's a setup. Seen it before, Doofy got wet up. Nah, you paranoid, letting your mind get the best of you. She would never set me up or lace my drink. Watch how you talking. You know I keep heating the mink.
So there you go. I'm probably going to get fucking DMCA or whatever, DCMA or whatever on that. But just trying to give you an example of what, this shit, both these albums are pure genius. Lyrically and musically, just amazing album. Plus all the shit he did with Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, come on. It's Ghostface Killah. Let's be real here. So, all that, just to kind of come back home, and Ghostface Killah, accused of being a deadbeat father and ghosting his son. Ghostface Killah's son has called him out for being a deadbeat dad and ghosting him and his other siblings for most of his life. On Wednesday, Ghostface Killah's son, Infinite Coles, dropped on his Instagram account and posted a lengthy message about his estranged relationship with his rap superstar father. In his missive, Infinite expressed his pain. And not talking to his dad over 15 years. Let's click that. Okay. That didn't do anything. I thought they were going to take us to his son's thing. Oh, so here's part of the post here. I've never been the type to go online and talk about my personal life, my family, or my emotions. However, today I'm giving an inside look into a broken heart because I'm feeling more lost and hopeless than I have ever been. His letter began, and then he tags the real Ghostface Killah at the real Ghostface Killah. I didn't really want to do this, but at this point, I'm tired of keeping quiet to save your reputation. I'm tired of the pain. My heart has been aching and longing to be loved by you, my father, for way too long. So since you are unreachable, perhaps this will get your attention. I haven't had a full conversation with you or seen you in over 15 years. You haven't once tried to reach out to me or see how I'm feeling or how I'm doing. I have messages that literally show me reaching out to you and receiving no response for over a decade. Infinite then inserted, the legend you all love, Ghostface Killah, is the full definition of a deadbeat dad. Dad, you let us live without light, gas, or even communication from you for years. You have all this coin, and yet you allow my uncles to clean up your mess. I have lived in a shelter for almost a year in 2020 during COVID, and you haven't reached out once to help me or seen if I was even alive. Infinite, who is an up-and-coming R&B singer, continued to claim that Ghostface has been a deadbeat to all of his children, including his daughter, who is mentally ill. He also included alleged screenshots of text messages between him and Ghost in attempts to connect with him and get medical help for his sister. Infinite also explained his intentions for calling out his dad on social media. For the people reading this, I really want y'all to understand, I'm not looking for attention or sympathy from anyone. I'm looking for attention from my father, he wrote, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. If you're going to go on social media, you know, you are looking for some kind of attention. But, I mean, if this is the only way you can get your father's attention, then that sucks. At the conclusion of his letter, Infinite implored Ghostface to be a better father to his children. Daddy, we need you. Not your money, but your heart, your attention, your love, he wrote. I hope you change your ways and realize that you have some beautiful and talented children out there with deep voids in their heart because you have been missing. You've ghosted us for way too long. Look at that. He used a ghost and ghosted. Okay. In an interview with Crack, Infinite Coles acknowledged that he and his father are estranged, but they are working on building a, okay, that's a typo. Working on building a healthier relationship. I'm not really close to my real dad like that, but my Uncle Rizza has been taking care of me as long as I can remember. So he is definitely one of my biggest inspirations, he said. Hopefully Infinite and Ghostface can reconcile. And I agree. I mean, if this is true, then I would hope that he was able to, figure that out, because children need their father. I mean, it's not a need. They don't need them, but it's a huge part of their development is having both parents in their life. Some people's parents pass, right? So that happens. But if you're Ghostface Killah and you have kids out there and you're just ghosting them, then that's really fucked up. That's really fucked up. What's this interview with Crack? Ghostface Killah's kids followed in their father's musical footsteps. So this is a little bit more about these cats here. Season 2 of Wu-Tang, an American saga, finally dropped on Hulu yesterday. So this was back in September 2021. The fictional drama follows the making of the Wu-Tang Clan, a hip-hop group formed in Staten Island. Yes, we know. We know that. Who is Ghostface Killah's kids? Ghostface Killah's son, Denise Ames, who goes by stage name Sun God, is a rapper just like his father. Sun God joined forces with Intel, the son of You God, Power, son of Method Man, and Young Dirty Bastard, son of the late Old Dirty Bastard, to form the second generation of Wu-Tang. They call themselves Second Generation Wu. Interesting. Ghostface also has another son who raps called Supreme Intelligence. He appeared in a 2014 rap freestyle for Forbes DVD with his father and Sun God. Ghostface's third son, Infinite Coles, also pursues music. The rapper also has a daughter, though not much is known about her, and her name has never been revealed publicly. Infinite Coles opens up about the relationship with Ghostface Killah. Infinite Coles told Crack Magazine that they weren't very close to their father, stating, I'm not really close. Okay, we read that. Infinite has always known he was... Okay, so he's also gay. Infinite has always known he was gay and explained to Nylon in 2017 that the use of homophobic slurs in his father's songs led to the two of them becoming distant, he said. It annoyed me and it made me feel like I was being shoved into the closet. It made me feel like Wu-Tang was talking about me. How self-centered do you gotta be to think that these motherfuckers are talking about you? Listen, that's the thing that people gotta understand, that there was a whole generation of people, and I'm included in that used to say silly shit about gay people, say terrible things, and it was just culturally what we did. And it's nothing we can do to change that other than not use those words anymore. So I don't know if Ghostface Killah is out there, gay bashing or whatever anymore. But back in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was a different time. And that's what's so weird about these kids these days, is that they can't get past that. It's like, well, we got to persecute you for your past transgressions. And that don't even make sense. Like, it don't make sense. What does that have to do with now? Like, I mean, people can apologize, if they want to. That's what I love about Snoop Dogg. He refuses to apologize for the way he talks about women in his early raps because he's like, fuck you. What did he say? He's like, fuck all them hoes. He owns it. Does he talk like that anymore? No. Did he change? What is going on? Who the fuck is yelling? Hold on, guys. This is... Damn. Fucking these little kids ass yelling and shit. Anyways, it's a weird thing to hold people accountable.
Sorry, my baby cousin started crying.
It's okay, but you can turn it down. Don't have to be full blast. It's fine. Damn. To hold people accountable for the way things were is just silly. It's the same way with this whole here's a good example. Kamala Harris, her father has direct ties to the slave trade. So does Kamala Harris, should she be canceled because she has lineage of the slave trade? That's what people are calling for. It's like, oh, your great grandfather had something to do with slavery, so you're bad now too. And it's like that don't make sense. We've evolved and we've become a different culture. Obviously, racism still exists. Obviously, people still say rude shit, but it's definitely it just doesn't make sense. And no one's gonna hold Kamalanga Ding Dong or whatever the fuck. That woman is barely cognizant. She's about as cognizant as our president. No one's going to be like, oh, God, get Kamala out of there. But it's just silly. It's just silly. But, again, I think that if you have a tie to, like the relationship between, Ghostface Killah and their kids, if you're just being a shitty dad, then... You're gonna pick shit apart, and you're gonna look for things to be upset about because they're not fulfilling that aspect of their role in their life, right? Like Ghostface Killah is sidestepping his responsibilities to be a father to children, to these children that he created. So it is strange to see that. What's this nylon? Let's see this. Nylon. Raised by rap royalty, Infinite Coles is finding success on his own. The following feature appears in the March 2000... Okay. Everyone wants to be real, but no one knows how to open their eyes, muses Infinite Coles, seated in a Brooklyn loft on a brisk winter afternoon. The 23-year-old R&B singer, actor, dancer, and model is contemplative yet cheery as he talks over carrot cake. So, what's real? Love, loyalty, respect, he replies. It sounds pretty straightforward, but as Cole's father, Ghostface Killah of the multi-platinum selling rap group Wu-Tang Clan, once posed in a song, can it be all so simple? Authenticity has a funny way of becoming complex, considering the pressure to be an individual but still comply with society's predetermined norms. But for Coles, eschewing conformity and simply being who he is has been the most influential force in his career, even more so than the fact that his dad is one of the greatest rappers of all times. Coles has always known that he was gay, which was the primary source of angst in his teen years. By that time, Wu-Tang's legendary debut album, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, had been around for a decade, and each member was a star in his own right. With individual albums that garnered street cred and critical acclaim alike. But for Coles, much of the hip-hop collective's macho dogma was a personal affront. The word, which I won't say, the F word, is so prevalent in their raps, he says. of his father. Okay, the F word is so prevalent in their raps, he says, of his father and his cohorts. It annoyed me, and it made me feel like I was being shoved into the closet. It made me feel like Wu-Tang was talking about me. Because of this, Coles and his father grew distant during his formative years. Now there's no shade toward his dad, and they're building a healthier relationship. My dad sends money and we talk, and there's nothing like spending time together, he says. So what's he saying? He's saying he was a deadbeat dad. Now but in this article, he's saying that his dad talks to him and he gets money. So is fucking Ghostface Killah a deadbeat dad? Of course, growing up in the Wu-Tang house, which is in New Jersey and not in the group's hometown, Staten Island, with a rotating roster of rappers and their respective families, did come with its perks. Family vacations were off the hook, Coles recalls. This doesn't sound like he had a terrible life. RZA took us to Turks and Casa de Campo in the Dominican Republic and Disney World. Uncle RZA, as Coles calls him, eventually became influential in honoring the rising artist's musical talent. The first time I sang, it was at the Wu-Tang house. Coles says, I was 14 years old and the family was celebrating Christmas. I sang Oh Holy Night. RZA and everyone was like, your voice is so good. He told me that things were going to get good for me. Coles' respect for RZA is palpable. His credits, the critically acclaimed rapper, producer, filmmaker, actor, and author for connecting him with the key industry folks and being one of the most inspirational people in his life. But it's undeniable that Ghostface, too, has had an impact on Coles. If Coles' music has any indication, he has inherited his father's penchant for painting pictures with his rhymes, a talent that was once led Pitchfork to wonder if the Wu-Tang Clan MC might be the best, most colorful storyteller rap has ever seen. This wasn't always apparent to Coles, who grew up listening to the likes of Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, and Aretha Franklin. I wish I knew more about my dad a long time ago, he says. I could be so much better at storytelling if I would have known that about him. He's got talent of writing about what's around him. He could write a dope story about a tree. Still, Coles is determined to carve out his own niche. He's releasing music in spring, this is years ago now, and contributed to XL Recordings. Everything is Recorded, a collective project orchestrated by the record label's owner, Richard Russell, that sees Coles working with fellow emerging artists such as Sampha and Abiyi. I don't know who those people are. Coles' resume extends beyond music. In 2015, he and Major Laser's Mila Murder were cast in Gang, a short film released by Dazed, in which his character is voguing with his bitch. What is that? Voguing with his bitch and talking about being a side dick, and he'll be playing what he refers to as a gay gangster in Netflix's film Headless, debuting later this year. You can also catch despite it being early in his career, Coles is already working triple duty, sidestepping his father's shadow, establishing himself in a cutthroat industry, and proudly owning his identity. It's no burden to him, though. People work so hard to be where they want to be. My hard work was to accept my... Okay, so this is weird, okay? This is really a strange thing that he's going to come out and get some... It almost sounds like he's trying to get clout. And I'm going to email this to myself because this is going to be a TikTok video. Because this is kind of bullshit. He's sitting here bad-mouthing Ghostface when he just said a few years beforehand that he had a decent relationship with his father. So